Привет.
Hi,
Vadim Markov.
I'm Vadim Markov. I'm Mila Markova.
Вот, ну, в общем,
So we just want to talk about our crazy idea, about our studio's crazy idea to record our good Russian rock groups in concert onto a multi-track real tape recorder, which is quite heavy and is the primary tape recorder we use in our regular daily recordings. So this idea came to us, to rent a club for the concert, as close to the studio as possible, and to bring this tape recorder there, set everything up and record the whole concert. Yep, to set up our microphones and take it away. A Mambo recorded in, 1950 or something. By our orchestra, yes. Yeah, they'd put old foxtrots on, they'd wind them up and sit and listen. Let me go and call the club and find out about the triple adapters. Yeah, well, today it looks really a bit Don Quixote-ish. I mean, it's absolutely much easier just to take a digital recorder with you with a huge number of tracks, record the sound from the control panel at the club, and pretty much get a very good result, as many people do. A good result, but the same as everybody else's. Yeah, so, but the very idea, just do it from a cell phone and everybody records it. Again, the quality turns out to be good, but the same as everybody else's. But we had an idea to specifically try to remember the technology of the ancient times, those which departed out of this world not so long ago. In the 90s you could still see concerts recorded on tape. So we brought all of that, set it up, but the results, shall we say, turned out to be quite unexpected. Everything turned out to be way more complicated. Let's just say we've been trying to mix all of that, and it's quite difficult to do. Because everything we hung around as microphones was really moving and jerking and jumping. Many of the microphones simply had no connection, and the musicians, while playing, were knocking the wires off so there'd be no commutation. And the whole wonderful real tape thing unexpectedly went completely flop in this absolute technical bedlam, so to speak. Well, it turned out as it turned out, so... during the concert of the absolutely marvelous bands, which we'll talk about a bit later, quite a number of people were coming up to look at the tape recorder, because it sparked genuine interest among the audience. Yeah, they were asking, what's that? What's that thing? What's this thingamabob here, spinning an odd? Well, it's true, the reality is that there's practically a whole new generation now who've never seen a tape recorder, especially a huge multi-track one up close and personal. And specifically in such a place as a club where people just drink beer, booze it up, smoke and feel on top of the world, and then they see this thingy sitting there. Talk about the musicians. What's there to tell about the musicians then? You know what we really had going there. Yeah, we really had the other 60s hour party going there. The important thing was not the sound recording, of course. Well, all of it is important at these parties, I think. Awesome bands, the Korovas Milkshake from Ekaterinburg, long-time friends, excellent guys. It's sheer pleasure to record and listen to them, and all of that. And the Sugarman Band. Those are the Muscovites. And of course the Thunderbeats. There is no compromise about them when it comes to the other 60s parties. So we decided, since such an array of all those superb bands materialized for the party, to just place it all on record there and then. Honestly speaking, there were a lot of problems, really. We had to load it all into the car, the case with the wires, the microphones. It would have been a real waste to just break or lose something somewhere. This Atari tape recorder of ours, it's so unbearably heavy. It was scary to even imagine for a second that everybody would get plastered and there'd be nobody to help shove all of that into the trunk, at least. And the concert turned out to be just mind-blowing. I really do hope that the recording, which will soon release on real tape and upload in digital form, will make you really happy, and you'll be able to appreciate the whole effort. Our effort and the musicians' effort, everybody played exceptionally well, and how much fun it was. Toward the end of the Korovas Milkshake's performance, there was this huge crowd prancing in front of them. The floor in this club is made of wood. It was shaking, and the microphone recording the audience, I think exactly at that moment, simply stopped working because the energy of that moment finally affected it, But you will hear it. You will hear it. Well, in short, when we started mixing the problems that were creeping up during the concert, the realization came. We had to use that. All of those had to be heard. Something fell off somewhere, something else somewhere. It was actually Mila who was mixing, so why doesn't she talk about what she was doing? Well, it was actually both of us who were mixing, but that's not the point. We tried to level out all of those flops a bit, really. The wires falling off and so on. I don't know how successful we were in that, actually. In some songs we had a bass drum falling off, in others a bass guitar. What's done is done. When you have field conditions, it's rather difficult to carry out everything perfectly. The Thunderbeat sax really crept through onto the vocals tracks, and no big deal. The sax is fine, not worse than the voice. My friends, first of all, question number one. Tell me, you still keep recording onto real tape at your studio, don't you? Or not anymore? We still record onto real tape. Yep, we keep persistently recording onto real tape because it all started during one of our Moscow visits when we met the wonderful Thunderbeats. They showed us how it's done. We were inspired and impressed and started doing all of that ourselves. And you're quite the experts at it too. We want to try and record you tonight, see how that turns out. Maybe it'll be about the same as your stuff. And tell me, when you played in Europe, what is the people's attitude there to your recordings? What do they say about it in general? People like the sound that comes out on real tape, even if they don't know it's real tape. Somehow it sticks. It works better for them. They can feel there is soul in that. And as for the digital, so to speak, technology, well, it's good, but it always makes itself felt. Well, maybe it's just a general good attitude towards you as musicians, towards your songs, etc. Maybe they simply praise that, or can you give some feedback on that? Oh, people immediately recognize your peculiar sound. There you go. Yeah. The fact that the sound is live, the band is live, the energy, the improvisations happen at times, of course, all of that is undoubtedly felt. You call yourself Kaleidoscope, right? It's Kaleidoscope Records, yep. Well, that's tongue-in-cheek, that's our studio, and we only have 16 channels. Quite enough. The Thunderbeats have less, 8. Yes, 8, that's twice as less. Yeah, and that restricts us in a good sense. We're restricted to the max right now. Well, there are 3 of you today, so we're a bit lucky, actually. We'll try doing it. You can even record the shoes drumming the floor. For that, we have a separate microphone available for the shoes. And the last question, a purely technical one. What kind of tape do you use now? We use some modern real tape, which was recommended to us by Vadim Markov. By me, that is. It's called RMG, I think? Yeah. It's from Holland, excellent for recording. It provides excellent lows. We record with that. Why the real tape specifically and not the digital? Well, it's because with the digital it's much easier. You can just simulate everything there and do everything, and people may not even understand. It'll be all the same to them if they listen to the Karavas Milkshake or some other song. But there's sheer pleasure in real tape. We simply want to work with it. Well, not so much the pleasure of it, but I personally think, and Vadim does as well, we grew up with this sound. Any song from our childhood and adolescence was recorded onto real tape. Our ears are so accustomed to the sound that everything else is perceived as something alien. I remember my first, it was probably the Alessis recordings, and they evoked nothing but pure horror. In digital, you can create this awesome mellow sound, exactly as it would be on real tape. But that, fortunately, unfortunately, will cost much more in terms of equipment. All of those plugins for insane amounts of money, etc. We simply can't afford all of that, but we have this love for, so to say, this specific sound.
Искрометный темперамент.
There is this incomparable feeling at the end of the whole concert recording process, of feeling the red-hot tape recorder, smelling of this real tape magnetic powder. It's as if you're right there in the 1960s, in the very epicenter of some hurricane from that era. There was this, I don't remember. Who was he? I think maybe a theater sound engineer or something. He was this old Gramps, and everyone was like, "Come on, Gramps, throw away these tube thingamabobs of yours already. Here's the new transistor equipment for you." No, the tubes are alive, they give off heat and they're warm. We're of the same cloth, The real tape is alive, the way I see it.
Все, да?
Да. Нет, это все, а...
Все, это я выключу уже, понял.
Да.
Все, сохраняю.
Там еще часть.
Yes надо нажать.
Yes.
Обохлыся.
Да.
Yes.
By the way, our wonderful sound engineer is here, and I think Ilya from the Thunderbeats, the keyboard player. Well, it was a good concert. I liked all of the bands. At first everyone had the blues, everyone was a bit hesitant, and then towards the end everybody boosted up and everything turned out just fine. All the three bands performed really well, my personal opinion. I can only say that I believe, except for the Thunderbeats, the Korovas Milkshake are the best garage band there is in Russia. But all of them together are great. The guys are great. Yeah, the concert was awesome, just awesome. Well, we finally finished mixing that concert of ours. The whole thing. Yeah, and by the way, Albert from the Korovas Milkshake has sent in a couple of words about what we were doing there, and I hope everyone will be interested in hearing that. I remember that the concert in Moscow was very hot. We'd just come back from Tallinn Music Week, and there were these calm and unhurried people there. But in Moscow it was all just a ball of fire. The Thunderbeats and us, we really lit up the crowd. It was out of sight. It's the Thunderbeats who inspirited us to the heroism of analog recording. That's for sure. When we came to them in 2010 for the recording, to record our single, we were inspired and saw for ourselves how it's done. Of course, Vadim and Alexei, they helped with the equipment. Then back home in Ekaterinburg, it somehow happened that we got together our own little studio. We got our hands on a 16-track Fastex device, some Lomo microphones, and then one thing led to another, and that's how it all started. We still record onto real tape because that sound turns out to be better for us than when we record in digital. And also, that concert really stands out because there were a lot of old friends, even one classmate of mine whom I haven't seen for ages. The whole event had this nice homely atmosphere. People from different parts of Russia were there. From Omsk, Novosibirsk, Moscow, Ekaterinburg. In short, there was a nice family atmosphere. The concert went really well. And now the whole recording has turned into this beautiful reel tape. Thanks to Anna Mikhailovna for its design. The box is also very interesting. It has been done with the 1960s technology. Here's how you open it, and here's how everything looks inside. There you have it. Well, purchase it. I hope you'll like it. And, autumn's here. The weather is nice, cool. The concert took place in the spring. Yeah, we have to finish the mixing already because the weather is excellent. Yeah, the concert took place in the spring, but we finished mixing it only now. Slowly does it. But we're doing it. Please buy this reel tape, listen and enjoy. We really do hope you like it. As if you were there at the concert. That's how it turns out, I guess. Yep. That's all. See ya.